what are some things that if anyone's listening and they have a brand or they want to build a brand, what are some things that you see that people just do wrong all the time?
Oh my gosh, it's a very long list. But, essentially, like Ed Milet said, people don't want to buy what you're selling. They want to buy what you believe in that you're selling, right? Like people are buying into your belief about your products, not like more so than even the product, right? And when people buy things, they really buy three things. They buy energy, confidence, and permission. Like that's what they're really buying.
Say that again.
Every time. Yeah. Energy, confidence, and permission. So energy is like, they want to know. That's why so many people are also obsessed with like who's the founder of this brand, because they want to know like who's behind it.
People tell me all the time at the end of calls, I love your energy. I want to do this.
Right. Yeah. Because people want to buy into people that they like genuinely want to spend time with or want to learn from. And that's where like as an entrepreneur, it's important that you have that embodiment of like your success or your own transformation, right? So that's a big one. And also people want to trust who they're buying from. Like no one's going to buy anything from you if they don't trust you. So it's just that's an important one. And then confidence is like, we're all trying to better ourselves. I think we live in sort of this, attention economy, and we're always looking to, become a better person, wife, mother, sister, like whatever it is, entrepreneur, boss, like all of those sort of things. And so the confidence piece is like, and as you both know, as like entrepreneurs, you have to move past that self-doubt. It's like, self-doubt is what really holds us back. Self-worth is our ceiling all the time. So it's like anyone that's going to sort of guide us beyond that, to just like believe in ourselves, to play bigger, dream bigger, show up bigger, whatever that is. And permission is just, that piece as well. And so that's like really what people are buying from you. And I find that the biggest mistake that people make is that when they go to market their services, they're marketing like the what, They're like, it's like, they're like if you work with me, you're going to get like 1 call a month, and people don't give a shit about like 1 call a month, 10 calls a month. Like they want to know how you're actually going to transform them, how your service or your product is going to actually make their lives better. And, there's someone named Donald Miller who created this, Story Brand, which is like a really famous marketing book, which everyone should read.
What is it called?
Building a Story Brand. Yeah. I built it. I read it. Jesus fucking Christ.
The mushrooms.
The Erewhon.
Yeah.
The Erewhon. I have Erewhon brain.
Yes.
I read it and I implemented it like year 2 of my business, and my sales picked up so like by 30 or 40% within 4 months. He's amazing.
Yeah. Wow. And what he really says is like, when you're marketing your business or your brand, like you sort of like put yourself in the spotlight, but really like your audience should be in the spotlight. So your audience or like the buyer is the hero and you're the guide. So like your audience or your customer is Harry Potter and you're Dumbledore, right? And like your job is to like basically empower Harry to become like the best wizard he can be, right? Most people like think that they're Harry Potter. They think that like they're on the hero's journey and they're not. So that's like the one fix that you can make really easily is just like sort of shifting that spotlight from just talking about yourself and sort of what you offer, because again, people want to know like how you can transform them and like what that looks like on the other side. So like you want to actually sell the transformation, not the product necessarily.
I'm trying to have this translate into my company and what
I'm doing
I
the
do.
same, and
It's tricky for me, but
I don't know how.
Well, not the issue. The challenge with my brand is that we don't sell anything. We are a brand that delivers Los Angeles recommendations, restaurants, places to go. I'm a resource.
You're a resource.
And the trust piece is definitely there. People see my face and they're immediately like, oh yeah, I like this girl's recommendations. I'm going to trust
do you know
whatever
her
she posts.
brand?
Of course, Camper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we run social for Westfield Century City, and so we've done. Emma on my team has like reached out to you. We've done like collabs with you. Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
We all love it.
Oh my God,
so much.
The Century City Ball is in every meme I do.
Yes,
always,
and we love it.
So so for us, I mean, yes, our app like that's going to be the selling point a little later on when it fully launches.
Right.
But right now, it's really about growing the community, growing the following and the audience. So for me, I love that distinction because I do sometimes see myself as Harry Potter rather than Dumbledore.
Everyone does.
Yeah,
it's
because
natural.
it is my face on it.
Yeah.
But I agree that like I'm the one delivering the recommendations. This is what is giving these people permission to discover, to transform their experience in LA. But yeah, it's how do I get the community even more involved in the content or
Ooh, let's talk about that real quick. I want to hit on that community building. So for like businesses that aren't necessarily like I sell in Scouts Agency, obviously I'm signing people.
Yeah.
But for something like this podcast where it's community building or Camber, which is resource and community building, or like my editorial site that I'm launching.
Yeah.
What is the way that we can create content the right way and sell, but that's not like a direct, do you know what I mean?
it's not like
I mean, you want to like people buy emotionally or they invest time emotionally because like time is our biggest currency. So like, and that's why I think like the whole thing where, you know, hooks on TikTok, it's like you got to lead with a strong hook to really like hook someone in. It's because people want to know I'm going to like, if I'm going to give you 30 seconds of my time, what am I receiving? Right. And it's really that like exchange, right? That's like an energy exchange. So for you and for community building, it's like people invest time or they invest money, you know, they buy emotionally. So it's like, what are the emotional outcomes of like energetically exchanging with your content, right? So like if someone follows Camber and, you know, sort of dials into the resources, it's like, how does that make them feel? They feel empowered, they feel educated, they feel in the know when their friends or their significant other or like families coming to town, like they have things to do. They know, like, and that's an incredible resource because people want to know how to spend their time effectively because we're just not in this era of people just sort of like, you know, being la-di-da about time and
they want to know the best of the best and they want it right then and there and they want to the decision fatigue and the overwhelm of information.
Yes. And they want it from someone that they resonate with.
Right. But they want, like for you, it's all about authority building. So it's like you are an authority in this space and that's like you want to position yourself as an authority because again, decision fatigue, all of those things, like those are like the outcomes that you produce. And that's what you're eradicating like emotionally for your audience. So it's like the more you sort of lean into that authority content, that's what's going to like, again, have people trust you, resonate, you know, your recommendations really work. They go and once they lean into the recommendations, they're like, wow, that shit was really good. And they, you know, they keep coming back for more. So for you, it's like really about authority.
Yeah.
And for you too.
Also, like I love what you said about the pain points because I think that when you build a brand, it is, I think such a great question that you helped me see at my agency was like, what are our clients' pain points? Like the people who watch Camber, their pain point could be, I just moved to LA. It's so overwhelming.
I don't know. It's so overwhelming.
I don't know where to go.
What do I do?
What's the inside scoop? Do I need a reservation here? Do I need da-da-da? And if you provide that to them, which you do in a friendly, trustworthy, et cetera, whatever, you've closed that pain point. And I think sometimes when we should do an exercise together after this about what is, hi sisters, everyone listening.
What is the pain
point of our community and how does our podcast fill that pain point? Because once you have those markers, then you know everything you do, are we fulfilling the pain point? Are we providing the transformation that our community is looking for? That's when you get, I believe, really, really honed in on that emotional piece that lets people feel supported and loved and, you know, whatever.
Right. And like one like hook that I see on social work really well, like, and again, these trends and this, you know, they change every like few months, but it's like my honest review of, because there's so much bullshit. Like, there's so much bullshit. There's so many people like being paid. The lines are so blurred between like, is this honest? Is it sponsored? Like what, you know, and like with, like when I worked with Bethany Frankel too, it's like that was her whole strategy on TikTok. It was like my honest review of, and she would just annihilate, like if it was like a Chanel bronzer, whereas like every other influencer is like tiptoeing around, you know, Chanel or Dior products because like they really want to be in with those brands. Bethany was like, this is shit. Like, because she just really didn't care. She's like, I will buy my own Chanel. Chanel will never work with me, but like, that's fine because I'll work with all these other brands, you know? And it's like, that like it created so much loyalty. Like she moved so much product because people were like, I fucking trust her because she's saying that this drugstore product, and you know, Bethany has like all the money in the world. She could do whatever she wants. And like she doesn't own makeup over $50. Like she just really doesn't. Like authentically, I could say that. Like she was going through my makeup bag and she's like, this Patrick Ta product is like fake news. You know that, right? And I'm like, okay, you know, but like it just, she and that's knows. Behind the scenes. Like that's just who she is.
I read her book and that really, like who she is came super, super to the forefront in that way.
Right.
What about people who are doing lifestyle brands. Like, I know you worked for magazines, and selfishly, I'm just interested in where you think, because with Frenchie, the strategy was to launch this kind of blog site, right, to create that community. Where do you see more generalized lifestyle content outlets going versus specific brands that are very niche, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a
Even with magazines, right? Like,
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's such a general question because people like end up buying into like the way you relate to something, because we do like live in this like opinion economy, right? And like I think of like there's just so many sort of brands that can become successful now that like would have just never become successful 10 years ago. Like, for example, Miss Excel, like on Instagram and TikTok, like she makes $1 million a month teaching programs about Excel, like
oh wow,
like Excel
I don't know
sheets,
who she is.
like Google Sheets.
Yeah, she just like shows you how to do Google Sheets.
She just shows you how to be like a ninja at Google Sheets, and it's just like the most. I mean, could we pick a more boring ass topic? But it's also something that like everyone kind of needs to know, and we need the hacks and we need the tricks. And it's like she makes like I think over $1 million a month now. Wow. Like that just like would never have existed.
She's making more than Miss Rachel.
Oh shit!
I mean, she's like killing it, right? Yeah. So it's so subjective because it's like the fact that she's so turned on and lit up by Excel like makes us all want to be like better at Excel, right? Like it's a weird. So again, like it's sort of, you know, when it comes to lifestyle content or just content in general, like you can be lit up about sort of anything as long as you are all fucking in.
It's the all in.
It's the all in. Like your energy, like you need to be 100%. It has to, it's like a fuck yes or a fuck no. Like we sort of live in that place. And, you know, and again, like you could incubate ideas like with your, you know, as your brand is launching, like there's things that you can incubate and be like, wow, audience is really responding to this. Like, let's lean into this more.